Hello, my friends. I'm Pete Torre, and welcome to episode number 6 of the Pete Torre Show. Before we move on, I want to thank my sponsors, Jackson West Medical Center, Best Practices Title, and Clutch Burger. My purpose is to inform, educate, and inspire you to grow your business and enhance your life. Let me tell you about today's guest. My first guest will be Jose Soto Longo. He's a director of sports and entertainment tourism for the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau. Following Jose will be Raul Vilaces. He's an entrepreneur and the founder of the Next Level Experience. Now a little bit about my first guest. Jose Soto Longo has been involved in the sports scene in Miami-Dade for several years, including time with the Florida Marlins, FIU, and the Miami-Dade Sports Commission. Now, let's talk the business of sports with Jose Soto Longo. All right, everybody. Now with me on the Pete Torre Show is, what can I tell you about Jose? Jose is the man, the go-to guy when you have any questions about sports in Miami, the teams, the players, everything that goes with that. He is the guy working with the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau, just bringing all these amazing sporting events to the city of Miami. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, Pete? Always glad to see your smiling face, brother.
And that's what it's all about. We got to smile, especially getting through this last year, man. If we can smile, if we're here, we're smiling, right?
Yeah.
It's been insane, man. Hey, listen, I want to, just for the benefit of the viewers, find out a little bit more about your work, specific work with the Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Basically, what we do, Pete, is our division handles all sports and entertainment tourism. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean by sports tourism, I mean bringing sporting events that create tourism for the community. Um, Obviously, we work very closely with the teams in the arena slash stadiums here in town because of their buildings, but mostly, we work on the operations side with the buildings themselves. I mean, obviously, events such as the Super Bowl, the College Football National Championship, the Orange Bowl, the El Clasico soccer match, which you see behind me. That's a picture was taken during that match. Events like that bring tourism to Miami, Miami-Dade County. That's one side of the equation. The other side is helping with our film commissioner here from Miami-Dade County, Sandy Leiterman, along with the folks on Miami Beach, to bring filming of television and movies to our community. Why? Because, hey, whenever you travel, let me just ask you this question. Whenever you travel around the world, no matter what part of the world you're in, and you say you're from Miami, people always bring up, oh, Miami Vice, because that's what TV does. I
Or
mean,
or South Beach.
South Beach, right? Those are the two things that people will always say, South Beach or Miami Vice, because
Yeah.
that's what we're known for. But that's what television and movie production do for a community, without a doubt.
Not only that, but what sporting events do to bring visibility and exposure to the city of Miami, which has been, a little bit tough, obviously, in the last 12 months. Let's talk about what happened and and obviously all the challenges and all the everything. When you're talking about nobody can go to these stadiums for a long period of time and there's no fans there. I mean, what have you seen from your view and your experience and what's happened? Because Miami, as we all say, is an events town. And from a sporting perspective, what have you seen and kind of like what's kind of changing right now as things appear to be loosening up?
Yeah, things are getting better. We're obviously not out of the woods yet, but
Right.
that light that at the end of the tunnel that for so long we were hoping was the exit of the tunnel, that it turned out to be a truck heading right in our direction. Well, I think this time it truly is the exit. Things are getting better. We're not where we need to be yet, obviously, but things are definitely getting better. The vaccinations are helping, and hopefully we'll be turning the corner very soon. You go back 12 months to when this whole thing started last March. I'm trying to remember the exact date. March 16th.
13th, 13th, 16th in that
Yeah,
range. Yeah.
March 16th, we had a meeting here in the office, and they told us, hey, we're going to be shutting down for a little bit because the mayor's asking everybody, to start shutting. My first thought was, oh my God, how are we going to stay in business if we're going to shut down for 2 weeks? We are now 14 months into a 2 week lockdown type of thing. So, but we're an incredibly resilient community. We pride ourselves on being survivors. God knows that those of us that
Yeah,
lived through Andrew back in '92 thought the world had ended that Monday morning, and yeah, that world ended and a better one came around. So, we're a very resilient community. We're always for some reason we always end up. I call us a cork because we always end up floating at the top. Um,
that's a great description. I got to think about that one for a while, but go ahead.
Yeah, good. I got you, guy. I'm glad you caught that. Um, Basically, we were the very first live sporting event to happen after the pandemic. Major sporting event was the NASCAR race that was held at Homestead Miami Speedway. Um,
Remember that?
that time, obviously, no fans, and it was, it was scary because it was the very first one, and the media had to be, you go up to a press box, and those of us that have been in press boxes, all our lives for the most part, everybody's crammed together, and you have major separation, social distancing, and incredible medical protocols that were taken, and that was the very first major sporting event that was held. Fast forward, obviously, the Major League Baseball played all year last year, no fans in the stands. The NBA was finally able to finish their season in their bubble in Orlando.
Yep, yep.
Great for the state of Florida, so nobody's complaining about that. And then the NFL and the NCAA did um, get seasons in, if you will. Obviously the Tampa Bay Bucks. Congratulations to one of our fellow Sunshine State football teams winning the Super Bowl.
And
Uh,
their home field.
yeah, I mean, I always wanted the Dolphins to do that, but I'm still holding my breath.
Yeah.
So and the bottom line is that things have started to get better. We were able to host the Orange Bowl game back on January the 2nd.
Hmm.
Uh, and 9 days later, on January 11th, the national championship game.
National championship.
Obviously, there were limited fans at the game, um, but there were fans, and the game was held. Incredible national viewership, great for our community, um, and to the best of my knowledge, and I tried to get information from as many people as I could. Those two games, the national championship game and the Orange Bowl game, there were no significant, spreaders, if you will, of COVID.
Exactly.
Whether somebody got it or not, one person or two people, I don't know, but I do know that there was nothing that major that happened because of those two games. So the Hard Rock Stadium was given a GBAC designation, Global Biorisk Assessment certification.
Hmm.
That they were the first major stadium to get that. And how do they get that? They get that from cleanliness policies, social distancing policies, mask, all that, everything that you could, they put in a bowl and they come out with a GBAC.
They meet up to the standards, the criteria.
Exactly. And congratulations to them. They've been able to keep everything under control over there. They had the Miami Open recently over there with
Yeah.
fans.
Yeah.
Again, limited amount, but still, fans in the stands is better than no fans at all. So we're moving in the right direction. Um, I'm very hopeful that come this time next year, things will be back to the old normal.
Well, speaking about hopeful, I want to put this on, dude, because uh, as we're broadcasting right now, it's the day of the draft. Okay, and you're about as articulate with sports and the things that are going on. We got to take a minute or two and talk about your thoughts on the NFL draft and the Miami Dolphins and the whole rebuild that they've had, man. I'm just interested to see your take. And what do you think the Dolphins should do this evening?
I am going to simply talk as a fan right now.
Yes.
I Let me put it to you this way: I did not miss one Miami Dolphin home game from 1972 through 1999. Okay, I did not miss one home. I postponed my honeymoon to go to a Dolphin scab game in 1987
I remember that.
in the pouring rain, and all I remember is my wife's glare as we were sitting under ponchos in that stadium, and the look of "I am going to kill you" on her face. The Dolphin. Yeah, it's funny. I've been in this business 30 some odd years, Pete, and a lot of it in the college ranks. And I get, I like to use the same analogy that one of the head coaches that I worked with used, and that's you're putting your entire life on a bunch of kids, and the way that you can, and in
Yeah.
college,
It's a great way to look at it.
Totally different program, totally different procedure. I mean, at college, you're going after 17-year-old kids, 18-year-old kids. When they're when you're in the pros, obviously there's a lot more. They become a lot bigger. Obviously, they go from being 6'1", 190 to being 6'2", 6'2" and a half, 300 pounds, and it's all muscle. And
Bigger and faster.
they're faster. Yeah, they're running a 4.5 40 at 225 pounds, and they were running a 4.7 40 at 180. So
Yeah.
go. But it's the same thing. You're trying to base your everything on a bunch of kids. And the bottom line is, you look at drafts, and nobody, no head coach and no college coach is ever going to say, "Yeah, I had an okay draft. Or I had an okay recruiting class." Every coach you talk to, every GM you talk to, this is the best draft the Dolphins have ever had.
We got the players we wanted that we were targeting.
We know it's no longer a rebuilding procedure. We're on the road to where we need to be. And I've seen a lot of great draft picks, high first round draft picks, that never played a game in the NFL or played
That's
very.
right.
Darryl Carlton comes to mind. John Boza comes to mind. I mean, these are guys that were first round picks by the Dolphins, and they never amounted to anything.
Right.
I've seen plenty of first round draft picks driving FedEx trucks, and nothing wrong with driving a FedEx truck. But if you're a first round draft pick in the NFL, that's not the career path you had chosen when you were drafted.
Exactly.
And I've seen a lot of guys that were, and I'm even thinking back to the early '70s when the NFL had 17 rounds, not the not
Man,
the
that went on for like 17 weeks, right?
it went on for I believe it was 3 or 4 days. It was 17 rounds, and there was actually the Writers Association, if I remember correctly, actually threw a party for the guy that would have been the first pick in the 18th round had there been an 18th.
Exactly.
So that's how you see great players like a guy like I believe it was either Norm Bulash or Don Nottingham that were picked.
Don Nottingham was Mr. What was that name they gave him?
Yeah, it was picked in the 17th round by the Colts,
Yeah.
who had just won the Super Bowl the year before, Super Bowl V, I believe it was, that they
Yeah.
beat the Cowboys on Jim O'Brien's field goal. So it's you never know. You never know. I mean, you look at and look at 1983, where 6 or 7 first rounders were all quarterbacks. The last one that was picked was Dan Marino, and
Dan
everybody,
Marino. Yep.
Marino's this and Marino's past history doing this, that, and the other thing. Marino broke every record in the book. I mean,
Yeah,
you see.
I saw something a couple days ago. They were airing the reaction by the people at ESPN after Pete Rozelle had made the announcement that the Dolphins had taken Dan Marino, and it looked really weird. They looked like they were talking almost in a bathroom, but they were talking about who's going to coach Marino, who's going to be there, who's the quarterback coach. He doesn't fit Don Shula. You heard that, and now those guys probably don't want that video to be shown anywhere.
You think back to those Dolphin teams, and those Dolphin teams were running teams with great offensive lines, and they weren't a passing team, and then all of a sudden come Marino, Duper, and Clayton, and just turned the world on its head. Those first 10 or 12 games in '84, where they were 10-0 or something, I think.
Yeah, they were undefeated until Oakland beat them, or L.A. Raiders. I don't know what city they were in that year, but they beat them there.
And sadly, I think that was the last time we played in the Super Bowl in '84. So
you got it, man. So tonight there's a lot of expectations. I love what the coach and this GM is doing with this team right now. I really believe they needed to clean house, and I think they've been very creative so far in the way that they've handled the draft and the trades and all that. But like someone said this morning, I don't know if it was Joe Rose, they've got the first 4 picks that they have, 2 in the first round if it stays there, and at least 2, maybe 3 in the second round. They've got to come in and contribute. They've got, if they're not starting, they got to play a lot. They can't be on the kick return team, on special teams. They have got to do it. So this is very, very important for the Dolphins tonight, and like a lot of other teams. But it's going to be really cool to see what happens, man.
I'm looking forward to a great season. Hopefully we'll be back in the playoffs very soon. Back where we were back when we were growing up.
You got it, my friend. My brother, this has been phenomenal. It's always a lot of fun to speak with you. Let's see if we can do this from time to time, and we can start talking. Huh? What was that?
Hashtag family.
I love that. I love that, man. I hear that from Bill, and I believe that's the culture of what you guys do there at the bureau. So take care of yourself and your family, and let's connect real soon, my friend. You got it. Take care, man. All right. Bye bye. A big thank you once again to Jose Soto Longo for being with us today. And now let me tell you a little bit about my second guest, Raul Vilaces. He is an entrepreneur, investor, and mentor. He is the founder of the Next Level Experience, an organization designed to help successful entrepreneurs and CEOs find clarity and achieve balance in their personal and professional lives. The system that he teaches is called The Edge, and the boot camp style mastermind gives men the opportunity to rediscover the edge they once had. His programs have been sold out and is currently working on expanding his events to Latin America. Now, for more insights on how to level up, let's speak with Raul Vilaces. All right, everybody, with me now is Raul Vilaces, of course, entrepreneur and founder of the Next Level Experience. What's going on, my brother?
Everything, man, everything. I'm glad to be here with you.
You were with me last year a couple times during the lockdown, the pandemic, COVID-19, and we had a conversation back then, and people were still struggling getting through the uncertainty of the times. But I think when you look at it, life is full of uncertainty. So it isn't just about COVID, and you talk a lot about that. So before we get into a couple questions I have for you here, it's just very briefly tell us what the Next Level Experience is all about.
Well, the Next Level Experience, Pete, is a mastermind group that I created about 5 years ago. We teach businessmen and entrepreneurs how to have the edge. I feel like right now, more than ever, Pete, that we've lost the edge, or the pandemic has exposed our weaknesses to the point that we are living on the edge. But I have a philosophy that the edge is something that comes from the inside. The edge is that drive, that energy, determination to be guided to expand. And I think that's right now is what the world needs, is for us to start focusing on where are we going from now. We've already done the pandemic for a year. We already experienced
Yeah.
the pain. Now it's time for us to start healing from that pain and looking at what are the opportunities. What's the next move? What are the next 5 moves that we're going to be able to accomplish the next 5 to 10 years?
Absolutely. This pandemic has forced us to grow and forced us to pivot and reinvent, whether we wanted to or not. If we were going to get out of this and and get it on the other side, it was important that do we accept first of all, because that's the thing I think you've talked about in the past. If you don't accept you're in a bad situation and you keep denying it and pretending it's not happened, you're never going to get healed. You're never going to move forward.
Yeah.
I know that you've mentioned that many, many times.
Yeah, and I think that one of the things that we do here at the Next Level Experience is we do a training and a process that helps men find that emotional fitness that we need in order for us to thrive in this economy. So there's emotional intelligence, which is having the awareness of the things that you need to do, and then emotional fitness, being able to take on the punches and the struggles that life gives us. So I think a lot of us, we lack the emotional fitness part. Really, the pandemic exposed every single one of us. Are we emotionally fit to deal with all the things that are going on right now in the world, or are we going to complain and become the victim of the circumstances?
That's right. And it's very easy to fall into that trap that I see so many people doing that. Now, how do we find certainty in uncertain times?
Well, I mean, that's a whole topic. We put an event together called the Leadership Summit. The last Leadership Summit was talking about the new currency is certainty. Right now, if you don't have certainty in your business, if you don't have certainty in your vision, people are going to feel it. So one way that I find certainty in the middle of chaos is asking myself, what are the opportunities that are out there right now? And I have to really force myself to focus on the solution versus the problem. So I know, for example, I have clients that have lost millions of dollars. I mean, some of those guys are in the verge of bankruptcy because of COVID, right? But at the end, they are more certain right now than ever that they're going to find a path and a way. So a man who doesn't have certainty right now is looking at this as the worst thing that could happen, right? And woe is me, the government did this or the market did this. At the end of the day, we can't control what we can't control. But finding certainty is mastery. Finding certainty is really having the emotional fitness to be able to say, okay, I'm aware of my situation. I acknowledge
Yes.
that I have a situation.
Yes.
But instead of focusing on the problem, what are the solutions? What are the possible solutions? So what happened to me in 2008 when I lost everything? There was no solution in mind. I have real estate, the market crashed, but it wasn't until I started looking, okay, what's the opportunity that's out there right now? And it was very few opportunities, but I had to narrow down to a handful of opportunities that I could pursue. And I think right now, if you're feeling uncertainty, it's because you haven't looked for enough opportunities out there. So it takes mastery for us to really start focusing on, okay, what's right with the world as opposed to just what's wrong with the world.
And what you're talking about is then the need to change, to take that bold step forward without any guarantees, but you knowing that you have to change. So I think if you talk to most people, they intellectually they'll say, we life is about change, right? There's only two guarantees in life: change and death, right? Or taxes, whatever it is, right there. But change, it's always happening there. So why do we refuse to change?
It's because it's so easy to stay the same. It's so easy to stay comfortable. And I think the pandemic or what we went through the last year is forcing us to innovate. Innovation is a mother of scarcity is a mother of innovation.
Yep,
Every
yep,
single time that I feel like, man, like life is forcing me to change, I need to start looking at where are the opportunities for innovation. I tell you, the pandemic, we were an event business. We had events every single month, Pete.
yep,
So
yep,
we were
yep,
doing millions of dollars in coaching an event. So when the pandemic hit, we were forced to change into the virtual experiences. And
yep,
then,
yep,
so my thought process, Peter, was like, I can never get people to have a breakthrough or deliver the same amount of value through a virtual experience. So this forced me to innovate to the point that now I'm seeing that the virtual experiences is delivering, if not the same, even more value to my clients because they don't have to get on a plane, they don't have to travel, they don't have to take time away from their family and their business. So now we are shortening the path to having the edge because now instead of spending 5 days with me in a bootcamp experience and me kicking your ass to break through, now we shortcut it to 2 days virtually. We're gonna be able to have the same effect. So it's not the same, as being live, but it is the results are the same. The experience is not the same, but the results are the same. I think a lot of us refuse to change because we're focused on the way that things used to be, and
yep,
we
yep.
are attached to a certain way as opposed to focus on the results. What are the results that I want, and how
Yep.
can I get the results? How can I change to get the results that I want in my life?
Long time ago, I heard there are no problems, only solutions. Okay, solutions can be anything. Solutions can be something you're excited about, or it could be a solution that you're not too happy with. But it is a solution. It's
Mm.
also called accepting things as they are and they come to you. But it's like you said, it's having that itch to find you're being confronted with all this darkness and all this adversity is to find, okay, it's pretty dark right now, however on the other side of it there's something new for me. My
Yeah.
job is to go through this here and then eventually get to the other side and discover something brand new that if I would not have gone through that adversity, I never would have gotten there because I would have been set in my ways and doing okay. So something like a COVID, it kicks you in the butt and it shakes you up, and it forces you to make that change whether you want to do it or not. Um, so we talk about high performers and people that are in that top 2% that are consistent, and not that they don't go through obstacles because I think the more successful you are, you probably have gone through more obstacles and challenges than the normal person. So what does it take to be a high performer?
So let me answer that in a different manner. Is people, the average person, okay, is looking for their problems to go away, right? The average person is saying, Pete, if I could just make enough money, then all my problems will go away, right? Or if my
Yeah.
wife, loves me the way that I love her, then all my problems will go away. But the high performer is not looking for the problems to go away. A high performer is looking for the problems to shape him and mold him so he could grow.
That's
So I
right.
always tell my clients, stop expecting for life to make it easy. Like expect to live a life that is worth fighting for. So high
Mm-hmm.
performer is really somebody that's a fighter, somebody who says, "Listen, I'm climbing the mountain. I'm going in,
Yep.
in this process, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
in this process is where you're being shaped and molded." Now, if we look at entrepreneurs and leaders and high performers, the common denominator they have is they have a viewpoint of the world that it's is not the destination that they're chasing. I've never met a guy who's successful says, "Well, once I make X amount of money, then I'm gonna retire." If you look at the most successful people, then they're never thinking about retirement. They're not thinking about like handing their gloves and going into pasture. They're thinking about what's my next level. They're thinking about the moment that I reach this goal, then I'm gonna set up another goal, then I'm gonna create a bigger impact. And
Yep.
so
Yep.
the secret to high performance is really number one is believe that there's a higher version of you. I think that's where a lot of us we fail in believing that there's another version of you. We think that this is good as gonna get. and we get comfortable. And the moment that you hit that comfort zone, that's the moment that your dreams start to die. That's the moment that you
Absolutely.
begin to lose your edge. The second is once you believe, the second is that the path is the way. The challenge is the way. The problem is the way. A lot of us, we pray to God, says, God, please, solve my problems. But before that prayer, you're asking God, help me to find my purpose, right? So then God says, okay, here's a problem so you can find your purpose. So every single time that I have a challenge, I ask myself, what is God? What's the universe? What's the feedback that I'm not seeing it right now? I was talking to a client early on today, and he said, "Well, one of the things that I learned from you is that there is no good or bad. There's only feedback. There's the problems are feedback of what I
Yep.
need to work on. And if we start looking at the world as, okay, what's the feedback that the world is giving me right now? Where do I need to grow? Where do I need to expand? Then we start looking at problems and challenges in a different manner.
Absolutely. And I just wrote a little note to myself so I wouldn't forget it here is I think also high performers are obviously are goal oriented. You know, they want to get to a certain level of achievement and something that can feel satisfied with and a sense of accomplishment, but they also have become obsessed or they've become in love with the
Point what was going to be is a high performer is in love with the journey. He
with the
knows that the
journey.
destination is not the end game. We're not looking for the destination. We're falling in love with the process. We fall in love with
Yes.
who we're becoming in the process is more important than what we get at the destination. And that's where when I work with men, I say, Raul, I already accomplished my goal in business. I already accomplished my goal in life. How come I feel empty? Well, it's because you thought the end game was the accomplishment. You thought the end goal was to get the company, to get the relationship. You thought that was the end goal, but they come in that process. And right now, the pandemic is really causing us to start reevaluating what's really important. I'm honest with you, Pete, like realize that I could run a multi-million-dollar business, but if my health is not there,
Yes.
then I'm poor. I got COVID early on at the beginning of the pandemic, and listen, that's something that I don't wish on anybody. I mean, I know some people are mocking the virus, and they said it's nothing. I was one of those guys who was very skeptical, thinking this thing was not real until it hit me, but more important, until it hit my wife. Then my
Yeah.
wife started to get sick, and then the moment that you start seeing that health, man, health is the number one focus. Every single one of us has to pay attention to that. Once we have health, man, we can make the money, we can make the impact, but really double down on health. And that's what I've done the last 12 months is really focus on what are my health habits? How can I be in the best shape of my life? And not just me, how can my kids be in the best shape of my life? How can my wife be? So that now the people that are most important to you, you have to really focus on giving them the opportunity to be in the best health as possible.
You
So the
create
health is number
a
one.
health culture with your family. It starts, prosperity starts at home, and prosperity starts with good health, physical and mental health.
And I was gonna say the physical aspect. A lot of people focus on the physical aspect, but mindset is 80%. The
That's
mental
right.
capacity. So then, my kids are in meditation processes. My wife has a meditation process. Like I truly believe mental health has to do with you having a process. Like if you don't have a process, if you wing it, like I wouldn't go into your business piece saying, okay, how are we gonna make money? So well, we're gonna wing it. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna show up. We're gonna rent this office, and we're gonna figure it out what's going on. That's what we do with our mental health. That's what we do with our health too. We react. We're reactive. I encourage my clients to have a process. Actually, I teach my clients to have a process every single day to get your mental health on check, to get your body on check, and then your business and your relationships are going to be a result of you being in the optimal level.
Well, having that good mental and physical health gives you better clarity of what you're doing. Because if not, you're going to be in a constant fog and you're not going to get anywhere. You're going to make a lot of mistakes and you're going to get more and more frustrated all the time. We're about to wrap it up here. And I just want to ask if you have any.
Yeah, I will encourage the viewers to get around a group of people that don't complain, that don't have negative energy. I believe everything is energy.
Yep.
So you get what you surround yourself with. So you have a group of people that are always bittering and looking at the worst case scenario. Eventually, I don't care how positive you are. Eventually, you're gonna get poisoned by
You got
those
to cut
thoughts.
them out. You got to cut them out.
So that's what I build my mastermind because I'm around men who are thinking bigger. So actually, 7-day challenge to get you edge back. We have about 1,000 men that we're training for 7 days. The goal is to have 1,000 men that I'll coach every single day for 7 days. It's a free challenge, so I will send you a link so you can post it with
Fantastic.
your
Yes.
video. It's going to start May 10th, May 10th to May 16th. There's going to be 7 days of me really for 1 hour coaching them on how to have the mental capacity, how to create better habits, how to become a high performer, and most important, how to figure out our code to the edge, because every single man is different. We have a similar process, but we all have different things that we're looking to accomplish. So we have to have a personalized code to our edge. So that's the 7-day challenge to find your edge back. I'll send you the link, but just proximity. I truly believe that proximity is power. The more you get around people that are molding you and shaping you, the faster you're going to be able to find your edge.
I love it, my man. I knew there's going to be a great conversation, and we're going to do it again down the road there. But congratulations on everything you're doing. I know you've touched me personally and have kicked me in the butt, and as often as I listen to your and watch your podcast. So keep doing the great work you're doing, man. I know you're motivated with the right intention, and that makes all the difference there.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
All right, my friend. You take care of yourself. Talk to you soon. Bye bye now. Thank once again to Raul Velazquez with great wisdom and insights on how to level up. I want to thank you for joining us today. Make sure to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and my YouTube channel, Pete Della Torre. As we part ways, I want to leave you with this. Have a vision for tomorrow, yet keep an eye on today. Take care of yourself, and God bless.